Good afternoon, my name is Marcus Minhadis and I am your host for today's press conference. Today we welcome broadcast class and newspaper students. It is now my pleasure to introduce our new principal, Mr. Ballard.
How you doing, sir? Good. Doing good. Great. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What is this? Friday, September 30th, last day of school before intercession. Let's go ahead and open up with our introductions. I'm Mr. Ballard. I'm glad to be here this afternoon. I believe you guys may have some questions for me today. So let me go ahead and take some questions. Yes, Julian.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. I'm Julian Vasquez from the basketball team. And my question is, are you going to play for the faculty team with the students versus faculty game?
The plan at this point, we do plan on having our faculty basketball game that will be on December 17th, the last day before we go on intercession. As right now, if my health is good enough, I plan on playing on the faculty team. Yes. Any other questions? Frankie.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. My name is Frankie from Broadcast, and my question is, are you a Marvel or DC fan?
You know, it's been a while since I've seen either one comics, but I would say I'm a DC fan.
And who's your favorite superhero?
And that's where I knew you were going next with it, but, you know, and I don't know why they haven't made a movie on this man. I think he was the best, comic character was Iceman. I like Iceman. Growing up, that's my favorite character. Thank you. Any other questions? Back in the back, Myra.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. My name is Sarah Martinez, and I'm from Broadcasting. And my question is, why can't we wear sleeveless shirts for free dress?
Sleeveless shirts. You could wear sleeveless shirts for free dress. However, they must have shoulder width. You cannot wear spaghetti straps and or anything that's too revealing. We are a middle school and we want to keep the safety of our students. And when we let them dress in certain clothing, we do put them in unnecessary harm. So it's really for safety reasons. No problem. Any further questions? Ulysses in the back.
Hi, Mr. Ballard. My name is Ulysses from 8th grade broadcast, and I was wondering if the decision of no designs in our hair was a district rule or school rule.
Originally, it was a district rule due to the fact that, you know, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, there was a lot of gang activities, and many of the designs that were being put in the hair and or names or, you know, different designs that would identify a gang member. So really it originated as a district rule and then evolved into a campus rule, because once again it just depends which area you live in, and the different, you know, designs can mean different things, and it goes back to the safety issue. We want to make sure we keep everybody safe and make sure that, you know, we don't start having students all wear a certain design and or, you know, hair color or anything that will identify them as a clique or a gang or a unit that's against someone else. So originally it was a district, now it's a school policy. All right, no problem. Do I have any other questions? Let's go with Mr. Love. Mr. Love.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. I'm Joshua Love. I'm from the 8th grade football team, and last year, 8th grade had prom, and I was wondering if this year.
Could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you.
Last year, 8th grade, they had prom, and I was wondering if this year.
Oh, you want 8th grade prom?
Yes, please.
Okay, and the plan at this point, we're in discussion, and what we're trying to do, we want this the campus that everybody comes to, our students, our teachers. We want them to come. We want them to be happy about where they're arriving every day. So our plan at this point is to do it bigger and better than last year. All right? So any other questions? Let's go with Alondra.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. My name is Selena. I'm involved in the broadcast. My question for you is, do you like our school? And if so, what's your favorite part about it?
That's a very good question. It's not about liking the school. It's a school, once again, that we want everybody to love. So I really do have a lot of passion for this campus. And the best part of our campus is our students, our faculty, our staff. It's not necessarily the structure. It's all about the people inside the building.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before I leave? Samantha?
Hi, Ms. Ballard. My name is Samantha from Girls Athletics and Broadcasting. I was wondering, what's your favorite NFL team?
My favorite NFL team is the Denver Broncos. They are the Super Bowl champions, defending Super Bowl champions, and they're looking good right now with a 3-0 start. Can I take another question? Casey?
Hello, Mr. Ballard. I am Cassie Milligan from the 8th grade volleyball team, and I heard that there is broadcast equipment going around the campus. Do you think we'll ever be able to use that equipment?
That at this point we have had some donations, and it's a matter of trying to get the right computers that will help us utilize that equipment. And there's a lot of needs on this campus, and right now we're in the middle of working on our budget. And the next 14 days, me and our office secretary, that's our goal in the next 14 days, that there's no students or staff, is to look at our budgets, our needs, and allocate the money appropriately. But when we make promises, we try to keep them. So we're definitely looking at getting new computer that will work for that broadcast system.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take a question over here. Ray?
Hello, Ms. Ballard. My name is Fernando Hernandez, and my question for you is, have you ever played any sports, and if so, what's your favorite sport?
I've played numerous sports. As far as, I guess, my favorite sport to actually play, this is something that not too many people know about me. I used to box, but football's the sport that, people think I associate with because I used to coach football. But boxing was actually my favorite sport that I actually participated in, and I was a 2-time Golden Glove champion. So that's something not too many people know about myself. I have about time for about 3 more questions. Okay. Let's go with James.
Mr. Ballard, I'm James Rodriguez from Broadcast, and my question for you today is, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, man. There's a lot of movies out there. I'll tell you what, most of the movies that I like, I can't say I have one particular favorite movie, but the movies I like are more motivational, inspirational movies. Movies, a lot of times are based off of true stories, but they're, they move you, they inspire you, and they want you to make a difference. So to name one up here, there's too many of them to name at this point, but, let me give you a name. Let's say, Remember the Titans. That was a good movie. All right. Thank you for the question. No problem. I have time for 2 more questions. We'll go. Anybody else with a question? Savannah?
Hello, Mr. Ballard. My name is Savannah Morales, and JHS president. And my question for you today is, other principals have gone to extreme measures in order to get their students to pass the STAR. How far are you willing to go in order to motivate us?
Well, that's a good question. As far as motivating, one thing I want to do, and one thing we're going to focus on, and when I first was hired here and I spoke with our faculty and staff in the first week that we worked together, one thing I want students to understand, faculty to understand, STAR is just another day in regards to performance. What you guys do every day, all the work you put in daily, that's the important part. As far as STAR, it's just like a football game. You practice, but game time, that's a time to show what you know. That's a time to show out. That's a time to put it all together. So when we go through the extremes, it's the instruction that you're getting every single day. That's where we're putting in the work. So when we go to motivate our students, we really want them to have the mindset that, hey, STAR is just the day that I get to show everything I know, all the work that you put in, all those long hours of reading, all those long hours of homework, all the lectures and or class assignments that you've already completed. STAR is just that day in May that you get to show out and show exactly what you want everybody to know, that you're exemplary and that you're doing the great things that you're doing here at PDN.
Thank you.
Welcome. 2 more questions. Let's go. Let's go with Brandon.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. My name is Brandon Baru, and I was wondering,
What was your first job?
Oh man, honestly, my first job that I considered my first job, and I laugh at that because I was an El Paso teen, and the reason I say that was my first job because that was like the first dollar I earned, and I had to put to buying, whether it was school supplies and or school clothes. I come from a big family. I have a total of 5 siblings, so there's 6 of us. So we started young. We started buying our own things early. So I did the simple things, the El Paso teens knocking on doors, selling candies. And truly, I had, go and buy my own clothes with that money that I earned over the summer. So I always consider that as my first job.
And why did you become a principal?
The reason I became a principal, I learned real quickly once I became a teacher. When I became an educator and I was in the classroom, I impacted the 140, 150 students that I had in my classroom. I enjoyed that classroom. I enjoyed the excitement. I enjoyed the excitement of the students coming in my classroom. And I noticed real quickly that if I could impact 150 students that were allocated to my class, that if I got into administration, I could impact adults that could impact, exponential amount of students. So truly it was a matter of what position can I get myself into to improve students' lives and or impact students' lives. So that's why I got into administration. That was a very good question. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
All right. One more question. Let's go with Control.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. My name is Control, and I play for the Paso Norte basketball and football team. And I was wondering if you could tell me if we were able to use our phones during lunch, and if not, why?
All right. As far as the phones, it goes back to school policy, school expectations, and the reason we do not, and this is a good debate, and I will always say what's good for kids is good for the school. Looking back at the phones, that's something that if the kids and students were using them in the proper manner that which they were used for, I would definitely have no problem with it. But here's the problem. The data will show you what students are using their phones for in social media for. They're using them to cyberbully. They're using them to, text inappropriate messages. They're using them for inappropriate media as far as YouTube and other videos that they download. So therefore it comes back to what's more important, the safety of all our students and or the social aspect of what students are doing. So the reason we do not allow the phones, all it takes is one student to cyberbully another student and or impact a student's life in a negative way. So that's exactly why we do not use cell phones on school campus, because we do not want students to cyberbully or use it for inappropriate usage, especially during instructional time.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Let me take one last question. Let's go with Roberto. Let's go ahead and have one last question.
Hello, Mr. Ballard. My name is Roberto Quintana, and I'm representing 8th grade broadcast.
Okay.
And I'm here to ask you, do you like the way lunch is, and will it change in the future?
As far as our middle school lunch and elementary, actually we've been getting a lot of feedback from our K through 5 parents. They actually like, it's a new program that we started this year, and it is Fun Before Grub. And what we're doing is having students go in, play, use all their energies, and then we want students to come in thirsty, hungry, and want to eat their food. Because here's what's happening if we go back to the old way, and most of you guys had this last year. What would happen is students, as soon as the bell rings for lunch, they'll run past the lunchroom and they go straight outside to play, and they stay outside the whole time. Then they want to get a bag of hot Cheetos and maybe a soda. That's the nutrients that they're taking into their body. So no, once again, it takes adults to say, you know what, this is best for students. We want you to have your fun. We want you to go outside. We want you to enjoy your time because we know you need that release. But most importantly, you need your nutrients, especially at this age. You guys, we have football players, basketball players. All of you guys are in broadcast. You guys are, using a lot of energy, and you need the nutrients to support that. So we plan on keeping it this way, and I think by looking at our middle school, they kind of dictate and manage their own time. They're coming in when they want to come in. And if you look at our lunchroom, 8th grade, I would say 60% of the students come straight in from the time the bell rings, and they come and sit down and they eat. So we definitely want you guys to consume all of your healthy foods at lunchtime, so we will continue to do the lunch the way it is.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, no problem. Any other questions, or does that conclude our press conference? All right, I do want to thank you guys for your time. Those are very good questions.
Do you have a pending? Yes. Yes. Very good. You can give another handshake.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard.
Thank you, sir.
This concludes our today's press conference. Thank you for watching.